Final item of business today is a member's business debate on motion number 4160 in the name of David Torrance on the 5th Scout Group Kirkcaldy. This debate will be concluded without any questions being put. So would those members who wish to speak in the debate please press the request to speak buttons as soon as possible. And I now call on Mr Torrance to open the debate. Mr Torrance, you have 7 minutes, please.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'd refer members to my register of interest. Presiding Officer, I'd like to welcome to Parliament Jenny Ritchie, Regan McLaughlin, Chloe White, Kia McIntosh, Robbie Swanson and Olivia Ewan of the 5th 5 Scout Group Kirkcaldy, along with one of our leaders, Carol Lindsay, James Duffy, Chief Executive of the Scout Association, Duncan Clark, Chairman of the Scottish Board, Alex Duncan, Regional Commissioner for East of Scotland, and other members of youth organisations across Scotland. The National Camping Competition for Scouts has been running for many years in various formats. The present competition having been run for the last 5 years under a new regional structure for Scouting in Scotland. Blacks of Greenock have provided sponsorship for the competition, providing vouchers to a value of 500, 300, 200 for first, second and third places respectively, and the Scouts Association is grateful for their continued support. The competition consists of a patrol of 6 Scouts aged between 10.5 years to 14.5 years, with combined ages of the patrol members not exceeding 77 years, thus ensuring participation of a wide range of ages. In order to reach the finals, the Scouts had to win their district competition and then take part in one of the 3 zonal qualifiers held throughout Scotland at Templars Park, Aberdeen, Benally, Edinburgh and Lapwing, Paisley on the weekend of the 23rd and 24th of June. The top 10 teams then go through to the final at Fordle First National Scout Activity Centre in Fife on the weekend of the 15th and 16th of September. During the competition, the teams are judged on the basis of various skills, which include leadership, teamwork, initiative, general camp craft, layout of site, hygiene and safety, cooking skills, camp gadgets and first aid. In addition to setting up a camp and maintaining a safe and tidy campsite, the Scouts had to undertake a wide range of tasks which tested their general scouting skills. I wonder how many in the chamber today can cook a 3-course meal from basic ingredients over an open fire in a set time. Not only did the 5th 5 Scout Group Kirkcaldy win the Scottish finals with 850 points from a possible 1,000, but they were also winners of their zonal qualifiers, achieving the highest score of any team competing over the weekend in June. Their team was led by a female patrol leader, Jennifer Ritchie, and comprises of 4 girls and 2 boys, which shows the impact girls are having within Scout movement today. Female Scouts now make up 15% of the membership in the Scouting section. The weekends of training preceding the competition highlight the dedication and willingness to learn of the Scouts present here today, who along with their leaders have spent every weekend in May, June and August, along with a couple of weekends in April and September, working towards this competition. The results of their efforts can be seen as they sit in the chamber proudly wearing their Scottish Championship knickers. The Scout movement started in 1907 with an experimental camp on Brownsea Island with the boys from different social and educational backgrounds. Some 105 years later, Scouting has grown to become the world's largest co-educational voluntary youth movement with some 32 million members in 215 countries. Scouting has changed over the years, but it retains its primary purpose, which is to contribute and develop of young people and help them achieve their full physical, intellectual, social and spiritual potential as individuals, whilst also encouraging them to become responsible citizens who make a valuable contribution as members of their local, national and international communities. Presiding Officer, Scotland can boast to having the first registered Scout troop in the world, which was the first Glasgow, established in 1908. Scouting has come a long way since then, and from 2007, the World Centenary of Scouting, membership of Scottish Scouting has seen 6 years of consecutive growth, and our young people have been joining Scouting in ever-increasing numbers. This at a time when young people in Scotland are often portrayed in a negative, stereotypical way by the media. Scottish Scouting 2012 census recorded over 41,000 members operating through 596 local Scout groups in all 32 local authorities. Over the last 6 years, membership has increased by 19%, with youth membership up 21%, adult volunteers 12%, and female members some 37%. However, the highest growth has been in the age group which is classed as difficult to get to, mainly Explorer Scouts. In this group, with an age range of 14 to 17, there has been an incredible increase of 67%. This undoubtedly shows the positive impact Scouting is having in communities in Scotland. Scotland is not standing still. It promotes a positive vision for the future, which can also be enjoyed by more young people and adult volunteers. This will have a demonstrable impact on our communities by encouraging. I will take an intervention.
I thank the member for taking that intervention. I was very lucky enough to attend the 33 Blair Athol Jamboree this year, as my son is an Explorer Scout. And could the member also agree with me that the efforts of the Fife Scouts in raising over £10,000 to ensure that a Japanese troop who had been devastated by the tsunami could come to Blair Athol this year is another example of the outstanding work of our young people in Scotland?
David Torrance.
I think all members of the Scout Association have to be congratulated, especially in Fife for that, but I know worldwide the Scout Association raises money for Scouts in countries who can't come to World Jamborees or to events like that to bring them across. Scouting also works in partnership with other organisations such as Girl Guides, Boys Brigades, Youth Scotland and Clubs for Young People Scotland. It has been supported by the Scottish Government cash back for communities and the National Voluntary Youth Work Organisation Support Fund. This vital funding has not only helped to expand Scouting in Scotland, but has contributed to its continuous success. Scouting in Scotland is supported by 9 professional staff at Scottish Scout headquarters, but at the heart of the movement lies in the 7,000 or so adult volunteers. These volunteers turn up week upon week on their Scout night, giving up their time at weekends and often using their annual leave to take Scouts camping for up to 2 weeks during summer holidays. This is only made possible by our prior participation in modules for leader training, first aid certification and camping permits. Many extend their qualifications even further by going on to gain outdoor qualifications in various activities such as canoeing, skiing, climbing, archery and other pursuits. Not is only done in their own time, but in some cases at their own expense. We can only applaud their dedication for a commitment to give, because without this, Scout would not be the success it is today. Also integral to the success of the Scout movement is the support and backup provided to groups by parents who take on a variety of different roles within these groups. I say to these, from the 5th Scout group present in the chamber today, I hope you continue to enjoy the rest of your Scouting experience. To the Scout movement in Scotland and worldwide, I wish you every success in the future. I remain confident that the Scout movement will continue to play a vital role in communities across Scotland and have a positive impact in educating young people and helping them make significant contributions to many different sectors of our society.
Thank you very much. I now call on Claire Baker to be followed by Dennis Robertson. 4 minutes, please.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. I'd like to begin by thanking David Torrance for securing today's members' debate and add my warm congratulations to the 5th Fife Scout Group Kirkcaldy on winning the Lyle Trophy and becoming Scottish champions at Blacks of Greenock National Camping Competition 2012. Congratulations in particular to Jenny Ritchie, Regan McLaughlin, Chloe White, Kai McIntosh, Robbie Swanson and Olivia Ewing. I'd also like to welcome them to the Chamber this evening. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate Calder District in Arbroath and Montrose District, who finished 2nd and 3rd in the competition. I welcome this evening's debate not only to give us the opportunity to recognise the contribution of Kirkcaldy Scouts, but the organisation as a whole. And uniformed youth groups, including the Scouts, are a lot of fun, not only for kids, although we've got all the Halloween parties coming up next week, but also for parents and carers who volunteer in many different ways. And when I got the note last night about the baking for the Christmas fair, I thought, is it that time of year already? But I do like the involvement and being able to play my very small part in the organisation. But uniformed organisations offer much more than this. They support children and young people to grow in confidence and learn skills that can benefit them throughout their life. And yes, camping is an aspect. However, regardless of age, of location, be it inner city or rural Scotland, the most common theme that runs throughout Scouts, from Beavers and Cubs to Explorers and Scout Network, is of team building and problem solving. And a recent survey found that 89% of Scouts believed they gained social, team working and leadership skills whilst part of the organisation. And it's no surprise that the same survey also found that 41% of wider community organisations believe that having Scouting on a CV is a positive influence when appointing. It is great, therefore, that the number of Scouts in Scotland is on the rise and that more and more children and young people are getting the chance to learn and perfect these skills. Membership is at its highest since the millennium, and in the past year alone, Scouting in Scotland has seen an increase in membership of 4%, the largest increase of the 4 countries in the UK. And it's also great to see so many girls across the UK signing up, with 1 in 7 of all youth members in Scotland being female, and last year seeing, for the first time, the number of girls joining outstripping the number of boys. So the rise in membership numbers is in no small part down to the tireless and dedicated work of volunteers across the country. Without these people, there'd be no Scouts, and their work should never go unrecognised. Indeed, if there were more volunteers, then I'm sure the number of Scouts would rise even more, as they have a waiting list that seems to run into the thousands. And the Scouts should also be congratulated on their own efforts to ensure that their members continue carrying out voluntary work for the organisation. And it's great to see that over 2,000 young people in the age group of 14 to 25 are now volunteering within the Scouts on a weekly basis. And it should also be recognised that the uniformed organisations promote volunteering outside of their own organisations, and 82% of youth members in the Scouts volunteer at least once a year, while 36% of former youth members do continue to volunteer at least 2 hours a week within other organisations. So Scouting builds a real legacy of being involved in your community and volunteering into people's future lives. So it's been a real pleasure this evening to recognise the Scouting Association, and in particular the 5th Fife group in Kirkcaldy. And I'd also say, I'd like to recognise the work of all there's many Scouting organisations throughout Fife, and I think, they do work well together and with other organisations to recognise all their work and for their hard work and their dedication, and I wish them all the best in future years.
Thank you very much. Now call on Dennis Robertson, to be followed by Anne McTaggart.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I also thank David Torrance for bringing this debate to the Chamber and welcome the Fife Scout Group to this Chamber. When Mr Torrance was talking through the achievements within the Scouting movement, it took me back, Presiding Officer. I was a cub, and at the time when I was a cub, they were known as wolf cubs. And I remember attaining the Leaping Wolf at the said Templars Park that Mr Torrance referred to. I too had the privilege, many a time, attending Bonally when I was a member of the 77th Liberton here in Edinburgh. The Scout movement, Presiding Officer, gave me an opportunity to compete as an equal amongst those who were able-bodied, an equal amongst those who didn't see a sight impairment as an impairment. Presiding Officer, I too can cook a meal, 3-course meal, outdoors, without appropriate utensils. I remember my first attempt at frying an egg. The stone wasn't particularly flat at the time and it fell off. However, on my second attempt, the stone was certainly heated and the egg was perfect. I remember cooking a burger wrapped in cabbage leaves, then mud, and tossed into the fire. Thankfully, it was one of the volunteers, a Scout leader at the time by Colin McLean here in Edinburgh, sadly died earlier this year, that actually retrieved it. Thank goodness. But, Presiding Officer, the Scout movement didn't actually just give me life skills. It gave me many things that I probably would have not been able to do otherwise. I was canoeing in the Tweed. I've climbed many Munros. I've been pony trekking. I've abseiled. I had the privilege of going to a World Jamboree in Amersfoort in Holland in the early 70s. And at that Jamboree, I was swimming for Scotland. Presiding Officer, I won gold. Presiding Officer, the Scout movement is a movement to be proud of, and it was one which probably makes me the person I am today. I have learnt many a thing in my early days of Scouts, and I keep them with me and dear to me as an adult. Unfortunately, I'm no longer involved in the Scout movement, but having been a Cub Scout leader, I remember very much the enjoyment and the privilege I had in everything that I did. And, Presiding Officer, a few years ago, someone tapped me on the shoulder and says, "You won't remember me, but I was one of your Cubs. Can I introduce you to my children?" Presiding Officer, that made me feel my age that day, sir. Presiding Officer, the Scout movement is a movement to be proud of, and I think it's absolutely wonderful that girls are now playing an active part in that Scout movement. I wish them well, now and in the future. And again, can I congratulate the Scout group from Fife who are here today and the award and the achievements that they've attained. Thank you.
Thank you. Now calling Anne McTaggart to be followed by Liz Smith.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Firstly, I'd like to join with David Torrance in congratulating the 5th Fife Scout Group in Kirkcaldy on their achievement in becoming Scotland's National Camping Championships 2012 and welcome them to the Chamber tonight as well. I am confident that I speak on behalf of the entire Parliament tonight in recognising the invaluable contribution that the Scout Association and its many volunteers make to the young people of Scotland. In addition to working with school-aged children, the Scouting Association also provides training and support to adult volunteers who develop new vocational and educational skills through training courses and events. These skills enable adult volunteers to be leaders in their communities and offer young people the chance to be part of an active and dynamic international organisation. I believe this is a fantastic example of lifelong learning process that all should have opportunity to join and enjoy, and that a well-funded voluntary sector should be able to contribute significantly. This is a powerful illustration of the reality that education is so much more than textbooks and times tables, and that we have a duty to offer all our young Scots such an excellent extracurricular opportunity. In my region of Glasgow, I am humbled by the work of our 77th Disabled Scout Association. This local group provides boys and young men from the ages of 8 to 25 with physical disabilities the chance to take part in outdoor adventure activities and international excursions. The vital work carried out by the Glasgow Disabled Scout Group is undertaken by volunteers, and the organisation employs no paid staff members on either a full-time or a part-time basis. And could I also mention one of the local volunteers there is Michael Shanks, who does an excellent job with this group. With no statutory funding, all of the funds raised are from voluntary donations, without which the association would not exist. Given the absolute vital role that volunteers play in the lives of young people in Scotland, it is right that this kind of work should be fully and sustainably funded, and that volunteers should never go unrecognised or be out of pocket as a result of contributing their time and energy to our communities. With the implementation of Curriculum for Excellence in Scottish schools, we must ensure that the education of our children is as high quality outside of the core academic curriculum as it is within. Part of this is supporting organisations like the Scouting Association to equip its members with the practical skills and confidence to create the community champions of tomorrow. Without proper investment in the voluntary sector and those that support extracurricular development, the four capabilities of confident individuals, successful learners, responsible citizens and effective contributors remain ambitious phrases with little relation to what is being delivered. At a time when the current financial crisis is all too often restricting the opportunities for our young people, volunteers and local charities are stepping up to offer the training and support our communities, building the skills of local people and championing our economic recovery. That is why I believe groups like the Scouting Association should be offered the support of the Scottish Government, and that volunteers across the country should be recognised for the absolute crucial work that they do.
Many, many thanks. Now calling Liz Smith to be followed by Richard Lyle.
Deputy Presiding Officer, could I thank David Torrance for bringing this debate to the Parliament this evening, and could I add my very warm congratulations to the 6 young people in the gallery. You should be immensely proud of what you have achieved. no doubt in the face of very stiff competition from lots of other Scout groups. And while it's a great result for the 6 of you, I'm sure that you would want to put on record your thanks to the whole of the Kirkcaldy District Scout Group for helping you to achieve this national success and for providing a wider recognition to the merits of the whole Scouting movement. For exactly the reasons that Dennis Robertson spoke about personally, the Scout movement is at the very bedrock of the support for young people between the ages of 12 and 18 as they develop personally and physically and emotionally, and I never fail to be impressed by the way that the Scout movement adapts to the challenges faced by every young generation, which do change over time, even if they have some similarities. And it's that ability to move with the times that I admire so much within the Scout group. The range of very exciting opportunities that are provided to you are absolutely invaluable when it comes to later life. As David Torrance said in his opening remarks, all too often in this Parliament we are confronted with negative stories surrounding what is a very tiny minority of young people in Scotland, and that disproportionate attention sometimes threatens to diminish the good news, and therefore it is always a pleasure to be able to support such worthy causes like this one, particularly a group which has successfully encouraged more youngsters to join as time has gone on. As people have spoken about the increase in the national Scout membership, but I think I'm particularly impressed by the fact that it's 10 years in a row, I think, where your membership has increased. And that is no inconsiderable achievement given what is happening in some other areas of extracurricular activity. Indeed, I think there's even more reason these days to encourage all youngsters to participate in Scouting or similar activities, given the track record of the movement when it comes to providing you with the relevant skills, the self-esteem and the confidence, as well as making the many lasting friendships which come about because of the work that you do in your local communities. Prior to this debate, I took a quick look at your new website and your annual report, and I was hugely impressed by the very significant contribution that you have made to your local communities in a very diverse range of activities, whether that's helping in older people's homes or doing a beach clean or whatever it might be. And I was particularly impressed by the fact you're the first group to have a sleepover in Deep Sea World. I trust that wasn't under the water, but well done for that too. But the one section of the report which really stood out for me was your chairman's comments, and he said, and I quote this, "I make absolutely no apologies for placing on written record once again my genuine and heartfelt thanks to each and every adult leader and the helpers who work tirelessly to provide the exciting and enjoyable Scouting activities for the young people throughout the district. Without their commitment and enthusiasm, the district would not be as successful as it is, and so to each and every one of you, thank you. And as parliamentarians, we also thank you. This debate is very timely in the opportunity to highlight the need for more adult volunteers to come forward to help with local beavers, Cub Scouts, explorer groups. And I know from the conversations that I've had with Scouts, Cadets, Bridge, all over Perthshire and other areas of Mid-Scotland and Fife, that the level of volunteering is still a major issue. But your success in the Fife group should be an inspiration to everyone. So many congratulations, and I wish you every success in the future.
Many thanks. Now call on Richard Lyle to be followed by Duncan McNeill.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Can I also join with my fellow MSPs in welcoming all our Scout visitors today to their Parliament and endorse the motion before us and pay tribute to all mentioned in the 5th Fife group. Can I also thank David Torrance for MSP for bringing this debate to the Chamber. I understand that David entered the Scouts in 1969 at the age of 8. David became a Scout leader when he was 18 and has held most positions in his Scout group over the last 33 years. You look too young, David. In the group in the last 12 years as a Scout leader. Because of his hard work and dedication, David has been awarded the highest achievement in Venture Scouts, now Explorer Scouts, the Queen's Scouts Award. Throughout all his hard work, he has now been 43 years in the same Scout group. I'm sure his leadership is an example to all. People may ask, what is Scouting? Scouting is a worldwide youth development movement currently active in 216 countries and territories with a global membership of over 28 million. As already was said, it was started in 1907 by Robert Baden-Powell to give boys the opportunity to try activities which they would not otherwise have the chance to do, with the aim of helping them expand their horizons. In 1976, the movement started accepting girls as well, and today Scouting has evolved and changed considerably to meet the changes in society and the world in general. Scouting, I pay tribute to, I was never a Scout, presiding officer, but Scouting, I understand, provides challenges and adventures for young people aged between 6 and 25. For both genders, it's relevant, it's a modern pursuit for those who enjoy adventure and want to meet new friends while developing new skills. Scouting is all about fun, and David has already told us about, and in fact Dennis has already told us, I've never boiled an egg on top of a stone. I look forward to Dennis showing me how to do that. Helping members to fulfil their potential as individuals and active members of society. What do Scouts do? Well, the point has been well made. They work well for the community, and they involve the community in their work. They learn by doing, thinking for themselves, working in teams and taking responsibility. This includes everyday adventure at weekly or less regular meetings, as well as exciting outdoor activities or trips away. It offers a huge range of activities and experience to suit all ages, abilities and interests. This is basically a balanced programme. Basically, some of the activities that Scouting includes are badge work. Scouts award badges to recognise personal achievement and progression. Awards and challenges. Young people can work towards a range of those to reward participation, commitment and achievement. Outdoors camping and outdoors activities, and David has told me over the last number of months the work that he's done at his outdoor activities down the borders. These are very important parts of Scouting, and basically I would suggest an excellent way to develop what Scouts are doing. They also have international experiences. Lots of young people will have their first taste of foreign travel or meet people from other countries, and there are opportunities to travel abroad to international camps. Service to the community, as already said. I pay tribute today personally to all Scouts who work well, and I agreed with the comment that's made about 95% of kids are made out to are really excellent, and the work that the Scouts do is actually excellent, and I support this motion.
Thank you very much. Now call on Duncan McNeill to be followed by Stuart McMillan.
Presiding officer, I thank firstly David Torrance, my colleague from the Health and Sport Committee. In fact, we're well represented with the speakers, with for former members at least of the Health and Sport Committee tonight. But I'm glad to be in that group who, you know, this motion tonight gives us a real opportunity to support and congratulate the 5th Fife Scout Group of Kirkcaldy in winning the Scottish Championship Award. Also, I can't speak from the experience that David speaks of, or indeed Dennis Robertson speaks of a personal involvement in the Scout movement. I was with the other lot, I was with the Boys Brigades, and but in way of mitigation, my grandson is on his way to the first Guruk Beavers tonight at 6 o'clock, which he thoroughly enjoys, and I hope he will participate in for a long, long time. I was also tempted to speak in the debate tonight just for a wee mention of Blacks of Greenock. When that caught my eye, I thought, there was an opportunity for me to come in and lead into scouting in Inverclyde, actually. But Blacks of Greenock, of course, was established when Thomas Black he gave up his seagoing and established the sailmakers in Greenock in 1861, and it's good to see that name is going on long after him. Remembering also that scouting in the Greenock District has also gives me an opportunity to say that they will recognise the efforts and achievements that you have achieved, because they, in the past 10 years in Inverclyde, have won that championship in 2002 and 2009. So we're here to boast as well, I suppose, and share in that. Congratulations. It's been long established scouting in the Inverclyde area, and the Everton campsite that you may know was established in 1923. But of course, it's not just a historical fact. The scouting movement is alive, surviving, indeed thriving, and has a current and present and a future. Inverclyde Scouts have just over 1,600 members, an increase of over 100% in 2007 between the communities Wimsby, Inverkip, Gourock, Greenock, Port Glasgow, right up to Quarriers. So they must be doing something right. While he would deny it, they are ably led by the irrepressible, ever-enthusiastic District Commissioner David McCallum, who not only makes the Scouts work, but makes the MSPs work as well. And I think this year, I don't know how many events that we have attended. The presentation of the Millennium Awards in St Patrick's School in February, the single biggest event in the Jubilee celebrations in Greenock, apart from the visit of the Queen, of course, was the Scouts, and I joined them for that as well in the Westburn Church in June. And of course the gang show, which they have made that will take place in November. So it is organising as we speak. These events, though, only happen because of the commitment of the volunteers and the people. And I mentioned David, and he would probably reject me just mentioning him, but I can't mention them all. But I think he represents an enthusiasm and a commitment that will serving the Scouts well. And all of these events and all of this activity and the achievements that they have achieved and hope to achieve, I think one of the proudest achievements that they talk about now is the initiative at Glenburn Special Needs School.
You might wish to draw to a close.
I will, Presiding
shortly,
Officer, where they have 40 beavers and club scouts, but supported by a dedicated team, ensuring that even the most vulnerable children in our community can participate in scouting. With that commitment and that dedication, they will always have a future. Thank you very much for saying that.
Thank you. Now Colin Stewart McMillan, after which we'll move to the Minister to close the debate.
Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. I too congratulate David Torrance for securing this members' debate, and I commend him for highlighting just some of the positive work that actually goes on in his constituency. I also congratulate the 5th Fife Scout Group and the winning team members who are here in the public gallery. I've got a tremendous amount of respect for the Scouting movement and for everyone who gives up their time to help and assist Scotland's younger people. And the Scouting Association has a wonderful history, and obviously we've heard some of that already this evening. And I'm sure that they will be around for a long, long time after I've left this earth. Now, I wasn't in the Scouts, I was in the Boys Brigade. And I know that there is a small bit of friendly rivalry between the both. And that's healthy. I think the mutual respect that both organisations have for each other is immense, and that is certainly to be commended and also highlighted. Now, both organisations provide younger people with opportunities that may not ordinarily be available, and I'm delighted that so many young people actually take up these opportunities. And I think already we've heard of the increasing number of younger people actually joining the Scouting movement in recent years. This can only be a good thing. Certainly in preparation for tonight's debate, I contacted David McCallum, District Commissioner for the Greenock District Scouts. And I mean, Mr Macallum, as well as his team, are absolutely committed to the younger people of Inverclyde and also to Scotland. And between them, their team, certainly they've doubled the size of number of young people actually taking part in Scouting since 2007. They've doubled the size in one area. I think that's a remarkable achievement for that whole team. There are now 17 groups from the Beavers up to the Explorer Scout units, and there are many personal as well as group achievements within that membership. As I said, the increase didn't take place by chance. It happened because of a concerted and planned effort. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the successes of the Greenock District Scouts, but I wanted to highlight just a couple. They have forged a working arrangement with the Ocean Youth Trust for Scotland to help young people earn the Duke of Edinburgh badges. Now, I know how difficult that actually is to get a Duke of Edinburgh badge, not because I did it, because my sister did it. And I know how much time and effort she actually had to put in to actually get her badges. Now, also, I want to highlight at this point my declaration of interest as I'm an ambassador for the Ocean Youth Trust for Scotland. I know exactly also the excellent work of the Ocean Youth Trust for Scotland, the work that they do and how they actually help hundreds of people from across all of Scotland and also from a range of backgrounds every single year. Now, this working partnership with the Scouts is just one example of the Inverclyde community actually working together. Now, another positive example of the Greenock District Scouts involves the activities this year of the Diamond Jubilee celebrations. 845 Beavers, Cubs, Scouts, Explorers and leaders held their annual parade in the church service, and this also became the celebration for the Diamond Jubilee. I mean, this indeed was a wonderful achievement involving so many members. Another point I'd like to raise, Presiding Officer, is just the element of the 60th Greenock District group. There are 40 Beavers and Cub Scouts at Glenburn School in Greenock. Glenburn School is a school consisting of pupils with additional support needs. The group operates on a Friday afternoon during school time, and it's operated by a dedicated team of individuals. The group offers a scouting opportunity to young people who would not ordinarily have that chance. Now, I want to congratulate the Greenock District Scouts for their decision to establish this group, and I also want to congratulate Inverclyde Council for working in partnership with the Greenock District Scouts to make this happen, and also for the other joint working that takes place between the both organisations. Now, I could go on, but I'd be here for a while, but I've given you a flavour of just one or two of the things that actually take place within the Inverclyde area. Now, David Torrance's motion towards the end from the considers that the Scout Association has been very successful to the end of the motion is so accurate. Hundreds of thousands of Scots over the years will have benefited greatly from the Scouting movement in its 105-year history. And I'm sure that over the next 105 years, many more will have that opportunity, and I'm sure they'll grab it with both hands. Now, as a former Boys Brigadier, I commend the Scouting Association and I wish them every success in the future. And once again, I'd like to thank David Torrance for bringing this debate to the Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you. Now call on Minister Aileen MacLeod to close on behalf of the Government. 7 minutes, please, Minister.
Deputy Presiding Officer, it's just to remind you, it's Aileen Campbell, not Aileen
I
MacLeod.
do beg your pardon. Shoot me now, forgive me.
Easy mistake, easy mistake. There's never too many Aileens in life at all. I too warmly welcome David Torrance for bringing this motion to Parliament and for drawing to our attention the achievements of the 5th Fife Scout Group. What not an easy name to say as well. It's a bit like that old score, East Fife 4, 4, 4, 5, bit of a tongue twister. But I actually thought it was the 5th Kirkcaldy Scout Group, but maybe I'm wrong. However, the 5th Fife Scout Group, they deserve our recognition. This debate, though, has given us the opportunity to debate young people and the real contribution they are making in their communities and to society. And I think it's really good to hear the Chamber tonight united in its support of the motion, and I am very pleased and privileged to be able to close this debate. I'd like to congratulate the 5th Fife Scout Group on becoming the Scottish champions, having won the Blacks of Greenock National Camping Competition this year. And David Torrance laid out very well the challenges that the Scouts undertook to win that award. And I bet that despite the challenges, that it was a lot of fun. And I think that was what Richard Lyle was alluding to when he said that fun is fundamental to the Scouting movement as well. And I think, I'm no doubt sure they've got a lot of stories to tell that they might share with us later on. It was really good as well, if I may say, Presiding Officer, that it was nice to meet the Scouts in the Chamber, in the garden lobby earlier on, and see them being shown around our Parliament. I also think I'd want to pay tribute to Claire Adamson's intervention, which was very useful in highlighting just the fantastic work that the Scouting movement does around the country. I'd like to, though, name the Scouts along with the others in the debate today, to Jenny Ritchie, to Regan McLaughlin, Chloe White, Kia McIntosh, Robbie Swanson and Olivia Ewan. I think their talents and hard work and tenacity have contributed significantly to this award being won by the Scout group, so well done to everyone involved, and also well done too to the 9th Airdrie Scout group and to the 4th Arbroath and Montrose Scout group, who were the runners-up in this challenging competition. I'd like to also welcome to the Chamber, though, James Duffy, the Chief Executive of Scouting Scotland, Carol Lindsay, the Kirkcaldy Group's leader, Duncan Clark, the Chairman of the Scottish Board, Alec Duncan, Regional Commissioner of the East of Scotland, and others who are involved in youth work to the Parliament tonight. It is good to know that other uniform groups and cadets are represented in the Parliament today, and I enjoyed over the summer months meeting with the Boys Brigade and Girl Guides and with the cadets at the Edinburgh Military Tattoo, but it was at the Girl Guides event I spoke at this summer that I had to admit there that I was actually a member of the Girls Brigade. So, like Stuart McMillan, had to make that small admission as well, but nonetheless recognise the support that each of the uniformed groups give to one another. I'd like to also, along with Duncan McNeill, though, take the opportunity to thank Blacks of Greenock for their support over the last 4 years to the Scout Association in Scotland. And I think it's partnerships like these that help to forge communities, enhance society and make a real and lasting difference to young people's lives. And I'd like to wish his grandson all the best at his first Scout meeting tonight as well. For us in the government, though, we want Scotland to be the best place in the world for children to grow up, and youth work organisations like the Scouts are helping our young people to be the successful, confident, effective and responsible individuals that our nation needs. And David Torrance made some very useful historic overviews of the development of the Scouts over the years, and it's good to know that Dennis Robertson's positive and happy memories of the Scouts have had a long and lasting legacy in his life as well. But youth work, as Anne McTaggart stated, is making a significant contribution to young people's health, well-being and learning. And it supports delivery across all of the national outcomes, and it contributes to key policies such as Curriculum for Excellence, Opportunities for All and Getting It Right for Every Child. The youth work sector has a vital role to play in implementing Curriculum for Excellence. They are important delivery partners offering young people valuable opportunities for learning and personal development, both in and out of school. Young people learn differently, and youth work gives them the chance to flourish in a wide range of learning contexts. And Curriculum for Excellence recognises that not all learning takes place in schools, and activities like the Scouts can play an important role in young people's lives. In informal and fun settings across the country, youth work organisations are helping young people to develop confidence, learn to problem solve and work well with others. Employers are calling out for these skills, and our young people need them to succeed in the modern world. And I think that was a point that Claire Baker made about how important it is to have these things in your resume if you're going to apply for a job. In particular, I want, along with others tonight, want to highlight the valuable role that the thousands of volunteers across Scotland play. Because without volunteers, it would be impossible to deliver the activities that organisations like the Scouts provide. And a recent snapshot survey by YouthLink Scotland estimates that over 73,000 adults are volunteering with national voluntary youth work organisations. And I know that in my own constituency, the Bigger Youth Project, Universal Connection, Street Level and many others, including the local uniform groups, are providing positive activities for our young people to do. But volunteers make that happen, and I think it's right that we do acknowledge that time commitment that they give towards ensuring that young people have activities that they can do in their communities. Indeed, the Scouts in Scotland is a volunteer-led movement. Its programmes for young people are delivered with the support of almost 7,000 adult volunteer members, not to mention the countless number of parents and other supporters. And in addition to this, over 2,000 young Scout members regularly volunteer their time to support their younger peers. And as Claire Baker said, volunteers build a real and very lasting legacy for a community. And Stuart, yes, of course. Sorry.
Dennis Robertson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Thank you, Minister, for taking a brief intervention. Would the Minister agree with me that the Scout movement, as in other uniformed organisations, actually remove all the barriers of gender, disability, ethnic minority, and they see young people as young people? And that's the tribute to the volunteers that we need to acknowledge as well.
Minister Aileen Campbell.
Absolutely. I think Dennis Robertson's own experience of his time in the Scouts is a perfect illustration of why the Scouts and other uniform groups are so important is that they kind of give young people the chance to be young people and to explore and experience all the things in life that were natural to young people across Scotland. So I think it's a very good point that he makes. And I think also in my final concluding remarks, Presiding Officer, I think that it's important that we do focus on the positive aspects of what young people in Scotland do. So too often we hear about the negative headlines and the things that are not going as well amongst our young people, but actually there are a genuine raft of young people doing very, very good things in their communities, and that's often the story that we don't hear enough of. So I think tonight's debate is important for that reason in itself, that it showcases and highlights the young talent that we have in Scotland. We should never shy away from expressing that and showcasing just what Scottish young people can do for their communities. I do think, though, that young volunteers are essential, and it's good to know that their opportunities have been provided by the voluntary sector and by people across this country, and I think that army of workers is something that we need to value much more readily. They are, like youth work organisations like the Scots, are a vital cog in our drive to improve young people's life chances. Youth work really is about giving people the skills they need to succeed in life, and that's why I am pleased to congratulate the 5 Scout Group for its achievements, for building young people's skills and capacities, for developing young people as future leaders, and for trusting young people to take charge, and for giving us a very good debate tonight. The Scouts that have attended tonight's debate deserve our recognition, and the Scouts and others involved in youth work deserve our thanks for improving the life chances of young people across Scotland. And with that, I'll close my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now close this meeting of Parliament.